Hello, a good day to you.
Hi, Satvik. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty well, thank you for asking. Uh, could you introduce yourself a little bit, for the audience?
Yeah. Hi, I'm Suryatej. I'm currently working as a research engineer at Metrician, which is a robotics company. I did my master's in computer science at Georgia Tech, and then
Right.
I have working here since then. I'm currently based out of like Mountain View, California.
Okay, okay. And how is it going so far for you?
It's good. It's good. I had interned at this company before when I was studying, and then I joined them full time. So I kind of had an idea of what I was coming into and the kind of work. So it's going well.
Awesome, awesome. So moving forward, I have a few questions I want to address to you and how you can answer them at your complete potential towards in your workspace.
Okay.
And some of the first question is, how important have teamwork and communication been to your success in your field of work?
Um, I think I would say it's pretty important because we're a startup and we're like a small company. So there's each person is doing multiple roles and like
Right.
you have a lot of responsibility. Especially communication is extremely important because when you're short on resources, you need to make sure you get the best out of your time. So we make sure we document everything. All our meetings are like documented and we set an agenda for every meeting, right? And then like we also leave some time for like open discussion items. So that's
Okay.
where the teamwork aspect comes in the sense like if you're stuck somewhere or if you're like you need some help,
Yeah.
there'll be other people who've like experienced things before similar like who'll help out to you. So I think especially since I'm just starting out in my career, teamwork aspect is important because I get to learn a lot from the people who've been in the industry much longer than me.
100%. Perfectly put. And the second question is, what are other skills that are important when working in a team? For example, problem solving with people in your team or decision making, conflict resolution when you're working with the team.
Um, I think for me personally, I think some I'll take something that's not mentioned here, which is accountability.
Okay.
So if you're working in a team and if you tell someone that I can get this done by today and they're dependent on it, I think it's your responsibility to make sure uh,
100%.
it's done today. And that's where like trust and communication and all of that come in. So that your teammates need to trust you that okay, if you say that you'll get this done, you actually get it done. So that I feel is like pretty important because it helps the company grow, it helps you grow, and it most importantly it unblocks your teammates. So I would say that is pretty important.
It's very important for a person to be very conscious in the company to take accountability.
Yeah.
Beautiful. The third question is, would you wish you knew earlier in your career about teamwork and communication before you joined the organization? If you would think about it, like what would you want to know before you go into it?
Um,
Something that would excite you.
I think one thing is even though people tell you all the time that you shouldn't be afraid to ask questions and all of that
Yeah,
you've been hearing since school, but it's still that it's subconsciously you will like, okay, maybe I can like figure it out myself or read up myself. But one thing I realized is the best thing for the company and you is like if you ask your questions immediately and get it resolved
yeah,
so that you don't waste your time doing something that someone already has the answer to, especially like in our company where we are trying to do new things, right? Like you should spend all your energy in doing things that other people haven't done, not like, basic things. So I
yeah,
think you should never be afraid to ask a question to your teammates. And like you should assume that, like, if they've hired you, then they know that you're capable of working there. So you don't have to be worried that, okay, they might think something low of
exactly.
me.
And the person
Uh,
should force himself to put him out there, even if
yeah,
he's not
yeah.
selected.
Yes. So I think I would tell that to myself that be more open about whatever questions you have because that's in the best interest of company also. Your time and everyone else's time is used.
100%. The next question: how important is trust in your work? Can you give an example? I mean, trust is very important anywhere with your family, with your outside your family, but in a company, how important it is with your people?
Yeah, like I said in my previous answer, I think it's very important, especially the aspect where like, the accountability part again comes in. You need your teammates to, like, you need to trust. And with like a startup also, that's like even more um important, because again, like, each person is doing multiple things.
Yeah.
So like you're like doing three tasks at once, and then all of them will be blocked on other people. So you just got to trust them that they will get done with it, so that you kind of work. If you do not trust your teammates, then you cannot like really grow the company or the business or yourself, right? Because none of the work will move forward, because you'll always be like checking, like there's no time to like double check
Right.
what everyone's done and all of that. That's the trust that I'm lucky my managers and mentors have put in me, that when this person does something, he'll do it well, so we'll just go forward with it.
Yeah.
And that's also gives me the confidence to do better work also.
Beautiful.
I feel that way. It's very important.
And to counter that, which you beautifully put, how do you build trust and how do you recover it if once you get it lost?
I think build trust is consistently delivering on your work or whatever you uh, uh, like said that you would do.
Okay.
And I think, like, yeah, it's a process, right? It's not like a one day thing that now everyone trusts you and over time it doesn't. But I think what I've noticed in my workplace is like 90% of the time, or 80%, or majority of the time, if you're delivering what you're doing and you're giving an honest effort, then it's fine. Like,
Mm.
sometimes you do try your best and you still cannot complete things and all of that, so you might think your trust is broken. But as long as you're giving an honest effort, I think that should be fine.
And people should
And
be aware, yeah,
yeah,
because if
and
once
I
you lose
guess
trust.
to build back, it would tie up to your previous question of communication. So I think instead of just leaving it unsaid, it's good to, just document everything, why you failed, or like what exactly happened, and then, or just have a conversation with your manager. See, I was going through this, so I couldn't get it done, but I assure you it won't happen again, sort of. So that way, trust and communication go hand in hand, in my
So even
opinion.
if you lose trust, you have to come out and say that, this
Yeah.
is beautiful. What is that one habit you would recommend that a new master's in international business graduate, which is, me, would develop about teamwork and communication?
What advice?
And as master in international business, as you know, as we talk, it's a vast subject. It's everything what business has to offer. And in this, how can a person like develop teamwork and communication?
I think, yeah, I guess we've already covered most of the things. Like, whatever questions you're asked is important. Like, you
Fair
should
enough.
trust your teammates. And I think another thing is good is, I f- I would feel much better if I know that I have a reliable backing in the team,
Yeah.
right? Like, when I fail, if someone comes and tells me, hey, it's okay, like, we can figure it out together, or someone just
Somebody to
helps.
support you, even though you know you're
Yeah,
going
somebody.
down.
Yeah, so that is very important, especially if you're like early, if you're just, if you're like you're getting started in a new course or something like that. If you have that support, you can just ask, hey, if anyone has any questions, we can just discuss. If you just set up that kind of atmosphere where people feel safe
Yeah.
or can openly communicate, that leads to good teams, in my opinion.
Perfect. Perfect. And that comes to the sum of the all questions. But me,
Uh,
as a personal question, I want to know if a person do even get selected in a company, and if turns out they're an introvert, how do you help an introvert in a company to actually be out there, even though he knows or she knows that they have to be out there? It doesn't let them be in the first place. How do a leadership role help this person to bring it out there?
oh, yeah, I think the most important thing about cases like this is, like, again, it doesn't happen in a day, so it's a slow
Yeah.
process. What I would say is, like, personally, what's helped me is you set small targets for yourself. Like, okay,
Right.
so let's say this week I'm going to raise my point in at least one meeting, right? Like, you set that target for yourself, and even if you fail, it's fine, like the first week, second week, but eventually you'll have the courage to do it in one meeting, and then you just constantly improve your milestones this way,
Mm.
that okay, now eventually there'll come a point where you'll be leading the whole meeting, right? And
Yeah.
I think the most like worrying thing for people is generally that you imagine that, okay, so today you're not talking to anyone, tomorrow everyone's your friend. It doesn't work
Exactly.
that way.
Yeah.
It's a slow process, so you should say that you're like you have a lot of time, right? Especially if you're just starting out, so you need to say that, okay, I'm going to do go step by step. initially I'm just gonna like maybe even within your team or to your teammate, you're
Yeah.
just gonna walk up to them. I would start with that. Just walk up to your teammate, talk to them, and then like slowly build from there, talk in the meeting, and
I mean, it's like
like
psychology. In the end, you can't finish a
yeah,
whole book in one day. You have to read
yeah,
one page a day, one day, one
yes,
step at a time.
yeah. So I think that would be my thing. Like just take small steps and you'll be good.
Right, right, right. Well, that concludes the whole session for today. And
Yeah,
thank you so much for your time, Suryatej.
no
Uh,
problem. It was
like,
great talking with you.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. And
yeah.
thank you for
All the
answering me,
best
like,
with it.
being honest with the questions and answers, being patient.
Yeah. No
Yeah.
worries. All the best with your course and assignment.
Thank you so much. And I'm looking forward to meeting you again in the future.
Sure. Bye bye.
Bye bye.